you came out as trans in your 40s. You were living life up to that point as a gay male. How long had the trans identity been something that you wanted to express publicly before coming out?
I just gotta say, you just misgendered me in the best way possible. I was born a female. And so,
All right,
and so
we're gonna.
I, no, we need to keep that. You need to keep that because this happens to me all the time and I love it. I love it. We absolutely need to keep that
No,
because
I'm super embarrassed now, but okay.
no, but don't worry.
We gotta learn.
As I am transitioning, I'm on testosterone. I was born female. I look like Jessica Rabbit. I had very large boobs. So you see old pictures of me. I literally look like Jessica Rabbit. And I love that because I get this all the time, right? It's like that's an indication like, oh, I might be passing a little bit here. Like people think I'm going the other way, but I'm very gender non-conforming. I am non-binary. So yes, prior to this, I was a bisexual woman. And I was very feminine because I grew up though like with 80s rock stars, so like long hair and that like I didn't really wear
was big in the 80s.
Huge. So that was my inspiration, right? So when I came out, I just ripped the Band-Aid off and I was like, I'm out, I'm trans. And I did it well before I started transitioning. So there were a lot of people that were shocked. We're like, we're looking at you and we don't see it. We don't see the masculinity. We don't see man. And I said, yes, but maybe that's because I'm gender nonconforming and you're only looking at one type of what does man look like? You know, again, here I'm looking at 80s rock star. My male friends all have longer hair than I do. All of them. So like, what are we talking about here when we're talking about gender norms? And so I came out in my 40s and previously to that, I was a queer woman. And when I came out, I definitely, nobody cared that I was bisexual. I don't think anybody even believed you anyway. Bisexuals get erased all the time. But coming out as trans was a much different experience. And when I came out, I will be honest with you, men scattered. They were like, oh boy, we don't want anything to do with this. Like, nope. And then it was the women who actually came down on me the hardest.
Really?
Because like, how dare you go to the enemy camp? And I realized how many people were out there that were TERFs and that were not intersectional. And
time out. TERFs?
Yeah, TERFs. Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know that? Oh, it stands for trans exclusionary feminist or radical feminist. Yeah. So basically, TERFs are women who believe that only cis women are women, that they usually are white feminists who are also not intersectional. So this is a word that we use in the community, but it very specifically means women who don't believe trans people should exist and don't believe that men have any participation in feminism. A good example of a TERF would be J.K. Rowling. Any woman that believes that only mostly again white women deserve to be feminists, again they take away, like the moment I came out, suddenly I could no longer be part of this feminist movement. I was like, but I still have a vagina. You know why? That's still my body.
Is that a big movement, the TERFs? Is that a big
all of the MAGA women are TERFs. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a TERF. Nancy, whatever her name is, she's a TERF.
Nancy Mace.
Yeah, and it's probably even bigger
in
the UK because the UK TERFs band together and they got a lot of gender affirming care cut out. They, J.K. Rowling was out there funding anti-trans movements. It's been a pretty common thing in history, especially with white women. It's been very common. Again, those women that want voting rights, but only for white women, not black women. These are the women that I'm talking about. It has now extended to the queer and trans community.
Yeah, if it butts in on my personal privilege, I'm not for it.
Yes, I am one step away from being a white man. How dare you step in? And that's what they see specifically white trans women doing is they think that someone's wedging in between their about to get equality, right? They're white women about to be equal to these white men that run the world, white cishet men, right? I mean, this is their mentality. And they see trans women as butting into that. That's the whole mentality. And that is why we see a lot of trans women, when we talk about trans people in politics, they rarely talk about trans femmes, trans mascs, trans men. They always go to trans women because what they're trying to do is really separate the genders in that way. And they're saying, women, look at these men that are like encroaching on, when really it's the other team that's doing it. It's like, actually, it's you guys that are doing it to yourselves, right? And I do think you should leave that little mishap.
I'll leave
because
it in if you tell me it's okay to leave in.
I think you should.
I don't mind looking wrong.
No. We never, this happens all the time. And I think a lot of people look at and they're like, okay, we don't know, or that's a man trying to be a woman, you know? And I think coming from this other perspective of actually, this person was born female, I think that's really important, especially with women, because women will back off. You know, the moment they think that I was born male, it's like claws out. And then they're like, oh, you have the same body as me. And the thing, when I say back off too, is that they will actually feel the shame of their prejudice because they're realizing that they were wrong. And I'm not saying you did that, but I think it's really important because that happens all the time.
Well, I step in it all the time.
But I mean, but you made the mistake, but people will make the mistake and come at me. Oh. Get the hell out of women's sports. And I was like, actually I have a vagina. And then they're like, oh, and then they run away and they delete their comment. And I was like, no. You have to sit in that discomfort of what you just did. You have to realize that you're a TERF.